I'll just talk. Is it starting?
Yeah.
All right. So the first place I start, I'm gonna do a sports issue. Let's say something about football. No, let's say the basketball NBA finals. Let's talk about Game 7. Or just the finals in general. Who's playing? Anything like that. First place I start my information is. Now, I'm gonna say football because I'm better at football. I'm gonna say for football, let's talk about Deion Sanders. All right, the first place I'm gonna look for my information is I'm gonna go to NFL. I'm gonna go on Google, type in Deion Sanders, and then I'm gonna get all the information that I need about Deion Sanders. I'm gonna see all the important stuff, his stats, all his all his um all his achievements, all the things that he's done, all the everything good. I'm gonna look at things that I can talk about in my papers about Deion Sanders, how he got from high school to college to the NFL, his story, how he went from the college, how he did so great to being a top pick, or even if he wasn't a top pick. Um, I'm gonna go on Google. Then I'm gonna go on Google, type in Deion Sanders NFL, see what NFL has to talk about them. Deion Sanders, ESPN, see what they have to talk about him. See all the things that he's talked about, his interviews that they talked about him. He did a little music too, so I'm gonna talk about him about that too. Bring that up. Then I'm gonna take links that I put in my writing, and then I'm gonna cite them because that's the most important thing. You gotta be able to cite them. And but how I cite them is I use EasyBib and I put the link in there, and then it does it for me. But if it doesn't do it for me all the way, I go back to that and I check it on myself and I put it into EasyBib, and then it shows me everything. It makes it a perfect, maybe not perfect, but it makes it a great citation. That's what I use. Um, and I choose this in the search terms. I like to get the basic information, not even the basic, the information that people didn't know. If you didn't know something about them, that's the best thing to use because it's like the basic stuff is simple. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows that. That's common knowledge. Even if you don't know the person or if you don't know the subject, it could be common knowledge just by guessing. Something that you can go deep into is like if your teacher, think about a hard teacher. That's what I'm gonna use. If a hard teacher will pick out the hardest questions. Maybe even if you think you didn't even he taught it or he or she taught it. That's what I want to put out in my writing so that like you just know, wow, that's what I use. Um, I keep up with all my information by locating the website. That's honestly how I keep it up. And I keep up my sources by just I could put it in if I write in Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, I'm gonna put it in those, and then when I put it in those, it'll look good. I mean, it'll just keep it as a backup. I'm just gonna save it for that, and that's how it's gonna help me. And when I save it there, I can go back, put it in EasyBib, and then source it because I know it's supposed to be in ABC order, so that's gonna help also. Then for my next plan of information, I'm gonna look at his family, anything like that. I'm gonna look at maybe his stats. I'm gonna pull up his his records. I'm gonna pull up anything that has to do with him, or I'll do something that has to do with him outside of football because sometimes the outside relate can help the inside. That's just something I do. Just all depending on if it's gonna help the writing or not. At research, I like to have a lot of information, so I like to use a lot of. I like to look at a lot of links and a lot of sources to help me get through it. So it'd be like let's say, because I mean, a lot of sources, especially on a person, it's going to be a lot of repetitive stuff. That's why I like to look at a lot of links because they all like you may have 10 links, and then all 10 are repetitive, but there might be just 1% in all 10 of those that show something that was not in either of them. We learn something new about the person or the topic. So that's what I like to do. I like to use a lot of sources, and then it'll help me get better at it. With researching, my biggest problem is probably what's my biggest problem with researching? Biggest problem with researching is probably summarizing all that I need to do, because like when it comes to summarizing, I like to tell the whole story, not the big fact, the important stuff, and the not so important stuff. So just so my paper can look big, because I know a lot of teachers, a lot of professors like long written stuff. So I like to use. So I'd rather it be long and then go back and change stuff than it be short and then I have to extend it. So that's what I like to do. Um, Using the school, I really don't know anything about like research. I just learned about their writing to help you edit it. I forgot the writing. I forgot what it's called, but it has to do with writing. Um, and it helps you with editing and everything like that. So I can use that. I just set up an appointment for that too. So that's really helpful. That's really helpful. I like to, especially when I'm going. Let me go back to the Deion Sanders thing. If I'm researching, I want to know what he does. Like, what was his number one thing? Like, what was his schedule? What is it like? So how did he become that great? Especially growing up, because we know a lot of people don't like to work when they're younger. They like to enjoy their lives. So, and it takes for you to be great in life, like this person Deion Sanders was. You have to be great. So I'm gonna research what he did, how he did it. Did he cut off his friends? Did he do this? Did he do that? Did he do that? Blah blah blah. Just to make sure I have all the information for my writing. Especially if it's an argument, Deion Sanders versus so and so. I'm gonna look at both their stats. I'm gonna compare. I'm gonna look up other people that know the knowledge of the sport, and then I'm gonna use them to get the sport right, to get the answer. It's because like for arguments, I especially like arguments because that's probably my favorite thing, and it's just it just helps a lot because when you have something good that you that I like to read, it makes it the writing easier. Arguments, it's like you argue with anybody, especially if you play a sport. It's a competitor in me to make it seem right. So when I'm looking at that, I'm just when I'm looking from when an argument essay comes up, I'm gonna do good in it because it's just comparing. It's just saying I don't want to lose, so I'm gonna beat you, plain and simple. Um, I don't know what else to say. Still have 30 seconds left. I don't know how to stop.